the show where I talk to musicians, DJs, record collectors, and promoters about the music we love and live. All right, just in time. Amazing. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk Rock and Roll. Kevin was the last to join us, but he's just in time. So hello to El Rondo, Ian, Axel, and everybody I missed right now. But it's great to have you here. And yeah, we talk with Shaun Young. That's a guy. That's him. Yeah. Kevin Smith and Sean Mencher.
Hi, everybody. Thank you.
And yeah, at first, my first question is always, how did you discover rock and roll, rockabilly? Sean, you want to start? How was it with you? How did you
for me,
hear about it? Yeah.
For me, it was, well, besides just growing up in America in the being a kid in the 70s, everybody knew about Elvis, and you heard a lot of old rock and roll just on, there were oldies radio stations everywhere. And and a lot of those DJs from the 50s were still around, and doing their radio shows, and they would play those songs. So you knew about Buddy Holly and Elvis and stuff like that. But the main influence for me was my parents. My dad was a huge Buddy Holly fan, a huge Everly Brothers fan. And my mom and dad would actually sing Everly Brothers songs in the car, like in harmony. And so I actually knew all those songs even before I knew the records, because I knew them from mom and dad singing them, and I would sing along as a little kid. And then I got into their record collection, and that's basically how I got into it. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great influence. How about you, Kevin?
Pretty similar, Yeah, you knew about older music from the radio, and also whenever my parents would go hang out at somebody's house, everybody had a little record player, and they all had a big stack of 45s. And so you'd get tired of listening to the parents talk about stuff, and then go listen to some records. And everybody had a bunch of Elvis records, and that was a big part of it. Learning how to work a record player and hearing Elvis records.
Well, definitely different in East Germany.
Yeah,
didn't have any like that. Yeah. How about you, Sean? Sean Mencher?
Well, I was. The guy who kind of turned me on to rockabilly, particularly, I was just when Kevin started talking about records, I reached behind me. I covered up my record player but it was this record right here.
Oh.
It's a guy named Tex Rabinowitz. And growing up in Washington, D.C., when I would hear, I heard him and saw him live. And I just loved it so very much. And but I learned about other music from him. There was a blues band called the Nighthawks who were great. Evan Johns, Danny Gatton. So there was a great local scene that introduced me to it. And from that, I would just dig back through records. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to let you know, if you're new to the show, that you can ask questions, or we appreciate every question. Of course, we want your questions, and the guys can't wait to answer your questions. And you can just write something in the chat, and we'll try to answer as many as possible. And if you want to make sure that we answer your questions, if there's too many, then you can just donate anything you want, starting from $1 to the PayPal address over Shaun Young's head. Let's talk at randyrich.de. The other one. Let's talk at randyrich.de. And you can also use Super Chat on YouTube. Yeah, that works too. And yeah, that would be great. And if you want to help the show out, you just donate something, or share it, like it, whatever you want, and ask questions. So how did you guys get together, actually? Because I know, Sean, you are from Colorado, and Kevin, you as well, yeah? How did you end up together, and Sean Mencher being from Washington, D.C.?
Well, I had a crappy little rockabilly band called the Shifters when I was in high school, and then right after high school, right after I graduated, I was playing with that band, and I met Todd Wolfmeyer, who's a guitar player that played on Marty Brahms, the Jet Tone Boys records, and Todd's a fantastic upright player too. But Todd and I had hooked up, and Todd had started playing with my band, the Shifters, and the bass player, the bass player was had started kind of not showing up for rehearsals and stuff, and Todd's like, I got this buddy that plays bass, but Kevin had, I don't know how long he'd been playing bass. Not long, yeah. But I was like, well, bring it over, man. So Todd brought him over, and we got into the basement. We messed around, and Kevin had this really cool Ampeg bass that looked like an upright bass. It had a scroll top, head top, and so I just thought, this guy's really cool, and he played like these cool walking lines and stuff. And so Kevin started coming with Todd to Shifters rehearsals, and our bass player wouldn't show up. So we'd go, hey, Kevin, you got your bass? And he'd go, yeah, it's in the trunk, And so he started playing with us. So we fired that guy and hired Kevin. And so Kevin and Todd and I played in that band. We toured through Austin, and we just loved it down there. There was so much music and such a culture of music, and so many places to play and stuff that we, as I remember it, I think we went back home for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then we were just like, what are we doing? And we loaded up the cars and moved to Austin. But that's all. Kevin and I kind of got down there,
And Kevin, did you start? Did you play the bass just by yourself before, or did you have a band as well? Or?
No, I never had a band. I was really just learning how to play. I knew a few acoustic guitar chords and had just played bass just a tiny little bit. And when I saw an opportunity to maybe play with somebody, some guys my own age, and play music that I liked, I was not going to let it get past me. As soon as I met them, I was like, okay, I want to do this.
And
Kevin,
Sean,
I'm sorry, Ryan. I was going to say, when we were talking about upright bass playing back then, I mean, Kevin and I, as far as I know, for me, I'd only seen one person playing upright bass live in my life, and that's when I went to see the Stray Cats when I was 14. In this when they were huge in this big hall, and they were way down there, and so it was really for Kevin, something that he had to totally figure out kind of on his own, just with his ears. And I remember, us trying to find pickups and all kinds of stuff. And tell them about finding that bass too, Kevin, your ideal bass.
Oh yeah, that bass that I've used, that I still use, is actually in the garage because I had a gig last night.
So is it this one?
It's that one.
That's
that
one.
That one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a mirrored image. Yeah.
Guys, and I realized that all the music that I wanted to play all had upright bass, and we had some friends in town in Denver that had a band, and they opened for the Paladins, and so we went, and I saw the Thomas Yearsley from the Paladins play, and it was like, I had no idea that you could put a pickup and plug it into an amp. I had no idea that you could do that. So that was what really it's like, okay, great. Now that I know that can be done, I started looking for a bass, and somebody told me that a pawn shop downtown had a bass, and I went in, and they had a brand new one that was way beyond my means. I didn't have any money really. Yeah. And I said, do you have another one maybe? And they said, well, we've got one down in the basement. Let's go down and look at it. And it was that bass. And I paid $250 for it. And when we moved down to Austin, I still wasn't playing it yet. And so I just started playing it when we moved down here. And I'll let Shaun Young take it from there about how we had our band going down in Austin, and then we met Sean Mencher.
Yeah, well, we met Sean Mencher because Sean's band was playing guitar with a band called Chaparral, and they opened up with it for us. I met Sean one time before that, but which is kind of a funny story. Because Sean was kind of trolling me a little bit. It was after a Shifter gig. He was there, and he'd had a few cold pops, and he came up to me and asked me, man, what kind of music is that you guys are playing? And I was like, huh? He's like, that's great music. It's not really blues, and it's not really country. What is that? And I said, rockabilly. And he goes, yeah, rockabilly. He was just totally messing with me. And yeah, but
And
like a
Sean
couple
Mencher,
weeks later, we played this gig, and there's Sean up there playing guitar, and we're like, "Hey, that's that guy from the Black Cat the other night." And yeah, we were blown away by his finger picking. So we started talking then, and that's how we met. And then Sean, do you want to tell him about Chaparral and the?
Yeah.
Did you live in Austin?
How that all kind of went down.
Well, what happened? Moved to Austin, and just went out one night down to 6th Street and was wandering around and going to different places. And I believe it was the Shifters. You guys were at the Black Cat.
Right.
And I remember Kev's had the that bass with the scroll on the and he was slapping the electric, and we were talking. And but I don't, I was aware of what was going on, and that was really it. I just enjoyed the Shifters a heck of a lot, man. I loved it. I mean, coming from Washington, I'd seen pure rockabilly with Tex Rabinowitz. I'd also grown up around the Discord scene, which was a punk rock community. Ian Mackay was, and I went to the same high school. He had a label called Discord, and so I was aware of what was happening. This kind of punk energy with rockabilly. But I had always, it was when you were with Daryl, I had always talking about rockabilly. I had always been drawn to the sounds like Blue Days, Black Nights, the upright and traditional acoustic guitar. And so that's where my heart lay. And then when we three got together, we realized we had the ingredients, for that sound. So that's
right.
That's kind of it.
Because we were the Shifters. I mean, we were just loud 3-chord dunka 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 dunk, typical kind of neo rockabilly basically, because we didn't know how to play anything else.
Yeah, but the thing was, most importantly, you rocked like crazy.
Yeah, that's all we did. But but when I got together with Sean called me because the Shifters broke up, and Sean called me because the Chaparral, the country band he was playing with, needed a bass player, and they wanted to find a singer and a songwriter. They thought it'd make, because then there'd be 3 of them in that band, all this stuff. Well, I wasn't a bass player in any stretch of the imagination, especially back then. But we got together at Sean's house a few times, and it was just kind of not happening. And the drummer, I think, quit at that time or something. I don't know. It was just the band was kind of falling apart. And so Sean had his Martin acoustic over there, and I picked it up and started playing Elvis songs, and he started playing Scotty Moore's licks, and we were just like, we were so happy. It was the first time we'd ever been with somebody that could do that together. So I asked Sean, I said, "Hey man, have you ever seen Kevin play upright? The guy that played electric with the Shifters, you should see him play upright. He can really slap it great and stuff." And Kevin was in between gigs at the time. In fact, Kevin was fixing to move back up to Denver to join the Gins, another band up there. But so I knew Kevin was kind of just sitting around the old house, watching old reruns and stuff, and probably bored. And I don't think we had a phone, because I think if I remember right, I just drove over there. And
yeah, I think so.
And I was like, "Hey man, you want to go jam with that Sean Mencher guy?" And Kevin's like, "Yeah, I want to do anything. I'm bored out of my mind." But we went over to Sean's house. Sean had a detached garage at his house. It was a great rehearsal space, perfect. And we just, the three, I think we played the Elvis Sun Sessions, like the 70s release of the Elvis Sun Sessions.
Yeah.
I think we played that like in order, we all had that in our heads so much from listening to that record. Yeah. So we played That's Right Norm all the way through, and just, we're like, it was the first time we'd ever experienced that sound. There was that sound, the acoustic guitar, rhythm guitar, the upright bass, slapping bass, finger picking guitar. And so that's how it happened, how we got together. Yeah. And
so we got some questions coming in already.
Oh, okay.
So what are some of your happiest or proudest moments of your career? Maybe, if one can answer for everybody.
Boy, I don't know. What is our proudest moment?
I'll just say one really quick. One of the things that and it's not specifically High Noon, but it was definitely High Noon. It was when High Noon backed Ronnie Dawson on the Conan O'Brien show. And that was a culmination of Sean and mine's work, as well as our great friend and drummer Lisa Pankratz, coming together to support Ronnie Dawson, who was one of our heroes, of course, one of our heroes. And we had toured with him and worked with him. And we had done all this work for so long. And I think all that time and energy and love all came together in that Conan O'Brien clip that's on YouTube.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And I do think it's that's for sure one of my proudest moments, because
I think it really captures
committed.
Yeah, that clip really captures kind of the entire spirit of that whole organization, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It definitely does. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it's wild, and it's just so much spirit in there. Yeah. And it's great that a guy like Conan O'Brien had all these roots artists on his show back then.
Yeah, Conan's a fan,
I mean,
big rockabilly fan.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So we had a super chat by Stephanie. Steffi, I know her. She's my girlfriend, and she always supports the show. We get to the question later, a little bit later, but Ian was before. Question for Sean: who is your preferred guitar picker that is alive today?
Let's see. I have a lot of favorite guitar players. I mean, Shaun Young, I love. Randy, you're great. Seriously. I mean, but who I love the most right now, who excites me the most for just straight guitar, I love the thumb pickers, and I've been listening to a lot of Tommy Emmanuel, and I enjoy him immensely. I enjoy his picking and his techniques. But there are so many. I mean, in our scene, you know, TK, Deke, God, the list goes on and on. It's hard to even remember them all. Ashley, I can't remember them all, but usually the thumb pickers, I really like. There's a whole community down at the Chet Atkins Appreciation Society. Just some amazing pickers. It's not exclusively rockabilly, but it all does go back to Chet and then him producing Elvis, some of the Elvis stuff, and then Scotty doing the thumb picking. You know, it's amazing. So currently, that's who I'd say. I love Joel Patterson, is a great player.
Oh yeah, he's very talented. Yeah.
Amy Griffin, I love. You know, if I'm overlooking anybody, I'm sorry, but so many. It's hard to pick just one.
You will get a message for everybody who is not included in the list now. Well, question to all. Last year, there were hardly any or no performances possible. Have you discovered a new hobby instead?
Yeah, being quarantined.
Do you like it? Do you like it?
I like parts of it. It's been kind of nice to stick around the house, but no, you know, people ask, you know, why we don't play so much. I mean, the main reason is that, you know, Kevin's got another job. And, you know, if for the people that don't know, Kevin Smith is Willie Nelson's bass player. So, you know, Kevin stays on the road with Willie a lot, and he's also been playing with there you go, that guy. And also been gigging with John Doe now too there. So, and plus I just recently relocated to Massachusetts from Texas, and so I'm closer to Sean now than I am to Kevin, and Kevin's still out there in Texas. So we can't play local anyway. We were supposed to be at Viva Las Vegas this year, but of course that got canceled, and it's just a scheduling problem, you know. Kevin, of course, you know, it's a gig that he had to take. You know, you don't go, oh, sorry, Willie, I got to go do a couple of rockabilly gigs at high noon, you know. So,
but we did that's
it, basically. Yeah, that's it. But we did the new record on Swelltune last December, and it came out this past year. And I hope everybody picks that up. I think it's you know, it's one of our best, and
your story.
You know, so we don't know what the future holds because we don't. It's just a scheduling thing. I would also like to mention that, you know, I mean, I've got a new record out on Rhythm Bomb Records, Shaun Young and Sean's got a great solo CD out on Swelltune. If you're a guitar player, fan of great guitar playing, pick that guy up right there. And
but have you discovered any other, like, did you do anything else which you didn't do before, like during the quarantine, like any? Did you?
I can answer just for myself. I've been trying to learn a bunch of pieces, like thumb picking pieces that I never thought I'd be able to play on some of the time, you know, just because you can just practice and have the time and not worry about performing out, just dive into some pieces. So that's what I've been doing.
For me, it was
Kevin,
mostly getting to be home with my family. I tour, and I have for the last 25 years. It's been pretty relentless touring, which I love, and it's great. And so realizing that, wow, I might have like 3 months at home was kind of frightening, because that's, you know, the most time I'd spent at home in 15 years. But that has really been just a great blessing I have 2 kids, and to get to spend time with them and my wife in one place all at the same time, and to get to know each other again and have fun as a family has been absolutely great. It's been wonderful.
Well, let's do one more. Let's do one. I'm sorry. Let's do one more super chat, and then we. How about some music? And you can decide already who goes first. So thank you for your super chat, Ian. Very appreciated. Have you found a difference, I guess, in the rockabilly scene between the U.S. and Europe?
There's always a difference between. You know, there's a difference between the rockabilly scene in Boston and Providence, Rhode Island. They're different places, but we try not to focus on the differences. You know, we want to find the things that make the commonalities that make us all happy. The music is for people. And for all people, I don't care if you're a rockabilly with greasy hair or you're a long-haired hippie. If you dig the music, then I'm all for you, and I want you at my show, and I want to hang out with you. And if you're into cool country rockabilly records, I don't care what you look like or how you dress or what car you drive. I love all that stuff. I got a 44 hot rod. I love that stuff, but it's not the be-all, end-all. The scene part of it is, I think, the scene. I mean, I love the scene. I'm glad it's around. I like being involved in it. The scene puts the cart before the horse on that thing, you know. I mean, I see people arguing about record hops. Like, I saw somebody was post the other day that somebody was all down on him because he wasn't playing original pressings of rockabilly 45s from the 50s at the record hop. It's like, that's crazy. That's nuts. You know. That's like cosplay. That's like reenactment or something. It's like, if the music's there, the music is the thing. I don't care if it's on a 45, a 78, or a CD. I like 45s. I got tons of them. 78s. I collect records, but I don't care if I'm getting the music from YouTube or a 45. I just want to hear the music, because the music is what makes you happy and what makes you connect with people and all that stuff. So,
but when you came over the first time to Europe, when was that? Do you remember when was the first
90?
time you came over to Europe?
Yeah,
1990.
I think Hemsby in 1990. I think, or was it 91?
Did you know what to expect?
We went to Finland before that.
It was Finland, I think, with Janne.
Finland was 19. Yeah, I thought it was 1990. Yeah, it was Helsinki. Yeah, that's right.
But did you expect anything, or were you surprised by something? Or
I was surprised how awesome the Finnish scene was, and meeting Jussi, Lester Peabody, and Eno, and the Hal Peters trio. I was blown away.
Yeah, first gig we did in Helsinki, we sat at a table for 3 hours and signed autographs after the show. So we were surprised. Yeah,
happily,
because we'd be happy to get 30 people at a show in Austin, and then we get there and it was we were surprised. It was surprising.
And also playing Hemsby that first time, we knew that there was a good solid scene and it was very organized. But getting into the actual big room at Hemsby and seeing a couple of hundred people all dancing, this crazy, loud rock and roll music. That kind of organization wasn't happening in the States yet, and it did happen later to an extent.
Yeah.
But there, we had heard that it was this big deal, and when I saw that, it was like, man, this is serious. These guys are serious. It was like, man, and then it was like, okay,
Our people.
I want to play well. I want to be
Yeah.
sure that this gig goes well because I want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you want to have some music, and then we answer. Sean, just a quick question: where does Shaun Young buy his Boomer shirts?
We buy my what? What's a Boomer shirt?
I just see this question here. So
Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't know what a Boomer shirt is. This shirt, you mean?
Maybe you can clarify.
Yeah.
But so Sean, who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
So we had a request from Daniel. No, it was somebody else. But Daniel sent us 20 euros via PayPal, and this is the PayPal address over Shaun Young's head. Let's talk at randyrich.de. So thank you very much, Daniel. And he's a big Buddy Holly fan. I know him. Haven't seen each other for a while because of everything.
Yeah.
We all know. So Shaun, you prepared True Love Ways, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, the story in a nutshell is a friend of mine, a friend of Shaun Young, Kevin Smith's, and mine. I was up in Lubbock. Jay Frank, if you're watching, I send this out to you. He sent me a clip of a guy named David Brandon, who is a classical guitarist in Lubbock, and he, I think the story is, had been asked by the Lubbock arts community or civic organization to arrange a Buddy Holly song for a presentation, like with a symphony or a classically arranged. And he sent me it, and I was like, oh my, I want to learn that. This is one of the things I did during the quarantine. I said, I want to learn that. That is so beautiful. And I said to Jay Frank, do you think I could, I'll make this quick. Could I contact him? He goes, yeah, just reach out to him via email. And he sent me his email. I did. And within a day, he had sent me it tabbed out. So I was like, oh man, I got to get to work. And then when I saw the request for on your show, I said, all right, I'm going to give my best shot. So here it is. Okay.
I'll just put you in solo mode here.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Yeah, that was great. I really enjoyed that. It's also one of my favorite songs, Shaun.
Thank
It's
you,
just
Randy.
so beautiful, and
It is beautiful. Written by Buddy Holly and Norman Petty.
Yeah, it was. I think it was the last song they did on the movie Buddy Holly story,
Yeah.
and even though it's not factual accurate, say say it like this, but man, this movie was so influential to us. You know, like being from East Germany, and actually, just a quick story. I didn't know of Buddy Holly first. I only heard a song from a German punk rock band. They called Die Ärzte, and they had a song, Buddy Holly's Brille, Buddy Holly's Glasses, and I thought it's a fictional character. And and later on, I discovered that they started even with like a Buddy Holly lick, the song. So and then like the same year, I heard the song. Then they had some Buddy Holly on East German radio actually, and they played all the rare stuff like "Door to My Heart" and "Queen of the Ballroom" and all that stuff. And I don't know where they got it from, but and I taped it on my cassette, and this is how I discovered Buddy Holly. And the first thing I bought when I went to West Germany when the wall came down was a Buddy Holly record. So
Wow.
yeah,
Amazing.
it's such a big influence on me, and for you as well, Sean. Yeah, I mean, you're a big
For
Buddy
me,
Holly
yeah,
fan too. Yeah,
probably my biggest influence. Like I said, my dad was a fan, and so I had records, but the way I found out about like kind of the more obscure stuff was there was a radio show out of Denver where a guy did a Buddy Holly show, and just like you, I taped it onto a cassette,
yeah.
but not even like I taped it directly off of the speaker onto a little
Okay.
built-in microphone onto the cassette, and heard like "Girl on My Mind" and all the Decca stuff, and
Yeah.
so yeah, he's been a huge influence and a huge influence on my songwriting, and yeah, I think he's the greatest,
Yeah, I think you can hear it, especially. I got this one here. Worm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both songs
Yeah, no,
actually, All
that's
Last Night and Heartaches Heartbreak, I really enjoy, I really love, and
Thanks.
you can hear the Buddy Holly influence there. And
I've got a brand new one I just wrote that's actually really Buddy Holly influence that I could play for y'all if you would.
that would be great.
Here, let me grab the lyrics for it. I think I've got it right here. Yeah, let me see if I can do this right here. It's called "With You in My Arms." It goes like this right here. It goes. When I go to sleep, I want you in my arms. I may be in too deep, but I want you in my arms. I want to hold you close when we walk down the street. Oh, so I can feel your heartbeat, feel the thrill of love when our lips meet. 'Cause I feel complete with you in my arms, with you in my arms. When I'm in the door, something like that. I want you in my arms, not to live more. I want you in my arms. I would never want to make you cry. I want everyone to see when we pass by the smile on my face and the gleam in my eye. I feel like I can fly with you in my arms, with you in my arms. When I hear your name, new song. I want you in my arms. I'll always feel the same with you in my arms. And I would never want to make you cry. I want everyone to see when we pass by. The smile on my face and the gleam in my eye. I feel like I can fly with you in my arms. With you in my arms. With you in my arms. With you in my arms.
All right, yeah. Get some applause as well. That was great. And is that available already, or?
No. I wrote that lesson, I don't know, about a week and a half ago or something. So, but yeah, we've already started cutting it down at Jet Tone Studios down in the basement, and so it'll be available at some point. I don't know by who or where, but but I've been doing a whole lot of recording down there, with the pandemic.
Yeah, it's good to have
a
studio in the basement.
If anybody's got money to put out records, let me know. So, yeah.
So let's get to the next section here of our show. It goes like this. Let's see if I have the right one.
Well, I'm young and wild. Ooh, young and wild, baby. Young and wild, that's my style, that's me.
Okay, so now we have your pictures here from
Young and wild.
When you were young and wild.
Oh, wow.
Let's bring it up. Let's
Carnegie Hall.
Let's make it big for a while. Okay. So here's New York Times writes about you guys at the Carnegie Hall on Monday, May 2nd, 1994.
That's something.
So yeah, how was it to play at Carnegie? I mean, this is unbelievable. Wow, yeah.
Ronnie Dawson, that's how we got there. Yeah.
So you backed him up. Did you play a set yourself as well? Or?
No, we just backed Ronnie.
No.
Yeah. And they had T.D. Bell, Irby Bowser. It was like a Texas music feature, So that's everybody. Yeah, that's everybody at the end doing a big hootenanny there at the end.
And Lisa on drums. Lisa
on drums. Yeah.
Is she still around, Lisa Pankratz?
Yeah, Lisa plays with Dave Alvin.
Oh,
the Guilty Ones. It's a funny story that Kevin, Lisa, and I had a band for one gig called the Ghost Riders. Remember that, Kev?
Oh yeah.
We played one gig at the Ritz Theater before Lisa was going to college at Rice University in Houston, and really, if Lisa had been around when High Noon formed, she quite possibly would have been High Noon's drummer. But she was away at college, so she was in Houston at college when we started the band, and we used to drive to Houston to play gigs, and we'd go past her dormitory and pick her up and bring her to the gig so she could hang out, and then we'd drop her off on our way back to Austin. Yeah. So we've been friends with Lisa for even before we started playing with, that's how we got her to play with Ronnie. Yeah.
That would be one question. Like, did you, when you formed High Noon, I think, like in Europe at least, there was no drumless trio I can think of. I mean, you knew the ones from the 50s like Elvis, Scotty, and Bill, but usually a rockabilly trio in the 90s consists of upright bass, drums, and guitar.
Right.
So did you have in mind playing without drums, or was it just by accident?
I think kind of more by accident, right? Because it was just the three, because the three of us got together and there was that sound kind of.
I was hoping we wouldn't have drums because it would focus a spotlight on the power of the rhythm acoustic guitar and a slap bass, and also thumb picking. That sometimes drummers at that point in time, it wasn't like, Bobby Trimble was around or teaching people about good swing drumming. You know, it was a lot of, you know, this type of drumming,
Still is.
and it was it weighed it down.
Yeah.
So there was such a sense of freedom and swing that this trio achieved. It just was, yeah. It didn't need anything else.
Yeah, and we purposely kept it that way. There were, you know, we talked about getting a drummer. There were a few times where we kind of talked about it, but the one time that we got asked about it, we're you know, a guy kind of big in the industry was asking us about a development deal and playing with drums, and we were kind of like, nah, it's just not what we do, which, you know, might have been to our detriment financially, but we stuck to our guns. And I mean, yeah, we you know, we were just excited to be able to recreate that sound, because it was such a mystery to us as kids. when you had that Elvis record and you played it, and you're like, there's no drums on this, you know? Well, how they all that rhythm and you know, because you didn't even see anybody really playing a strong rhythm guitar, acoustic rhythm guitar back then, you know?
Yeah, that's
this wasn't around. It was guys with Marshalls and Les Pauls and, you know, just wailing. Yeah, so when we found that sound, when the three of us got together, it was just kind of, yeah, this is the way it's going to be.
Let's have another photo here. Oh, so this is you backing up who?
Mac. That's Matt Curtis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you remember the Continental Club in Austin, I guess, yeah? Yeah,
that's in Austin at the Continental Club. We got to back a lot of, through hooking up with Ronnie Dawson, we got to back a lot of legends. Matt Curtis, Sid and Billy King, Gene Summers.
Yeah. And these guys, they were just fantastic, yeah, in the like in the 90s, like 2000, early 2000s. I think that the old guys, they just every time I saw one of them, it was just, and most of them were like really, really good, still strong voice, and I just love to see them and play with them.
Yeah. Us too. Yeah.
Talking about the Crickets, obviously. Where did you meet them?
I met them. That was a gig up here in Maine. My younger brother, Mark, had booked them and said, Sean, do you want to open for the Crickets in Blue Hill with your band? And I said, yes, I do. So that's how that happened. And I mean, you know, it was a dream come true.
Yeah, those guys are funny.
Yeah.
Those guys are a lot of fun. They were a lot of fun, yeah.
I really regret, you know, but back then when I saw them the first times, I was too young, too shy to speak to them. Like, I just said hi. But now I reached out to Sonny Curtis when I did my Buddy Holly video course, and he answered me some questions I didn't know.
Great.
You know, so about his playing and what position he played, and I wasn't sure if he used the thumb pick or not, and he confirmed that, and so yeah, I'm very thankful.
Did he use a thumb pick?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
Even on the later stuff with the Crickets, on some of the songs, like "Don't Cry on My Shoulder." Yeah.
Reliable.
Yeah, if you picture this solo,
I don't know what to tell you.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I got to drink beer with those guys in Green Bay, like for a whole afternoon, and talk football, and it was really, really fun. Those guys are really funny guys, and just I think their whole purpose in life is just to mess around with each other. They just tease each other relentlessly.
And Sonny Curtis was actually the first one who played Buddy Holly's guitar in the studio. Because at Decca they didn't allow Buddy to play rhythm guitar, so so just Sonny played Buddy's guitar back then. Yeah,
played the Strat, right?
The first session.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another legend.
Gary Lambert.
Yeah, another fantastic guitar player and such a great guy. Any story about him?
I
Sean?
met him at the Chet Atkins Festival, and he was
Oh.
just humble and great. I mean, he's a great guitar player. This may have been in California, this photo. I don't remember.
Okay.
Sean, didn't you and Kev, you met him at the...
Yeah, Kevin and I went and hung out with Wally and Bobby from the Flyride Trio, and Glenn and Gary for when they were rehearsing. You remember that, Kevin? We went over to Wally's garage, and yeah, we went over and just hung out while they were rehearsing, just so we could hear Glenn and Gary play, because we were going to be around for the gig, I guess. So yeah, that's where we met him. Yeah, and they were both really great. I remember that it turned into a country music jam session with Glenn. Like, we ended up singing Ray Price songs and stuff, and yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Wow.
It was fun.
And Gary Lambert, I mean, he's still, you know, when I saw him in the 90s and in 2000, he still played great.
Yeah.
Oh,
Finger
yeah.
picking is amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's great.
Oh, that's it. Oh, that's it. Cool. Thank you for the pictures, Sean. That you sent
Can
me.
I show one really quick?
You got
Oh,
one?
yeah.
I've been going through some pictures, and this one
Not those type of
is
pictures.
from-
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't
I just put
that
you in
great?
solo.
So this was at the Hard Rock Cafe in Dallas,
Okay.
and that's Johnny Carroll and Ronnie and Gene Summers. And
Wow.
we did this big show, and we were back in Johnny Carroll, but Ronnie and Gene came out, and being on stage with all of those guys at once was that was a pretty amazing. Well,
That's pretty
just
cool,
an
man.
amazing occurrence. I'll never forget it. Beautiful.
Definitely. How did you? Also, I want to say, if you want to make sure to the guests here, to the viewers, that we read your questions, please. You can use Super Chat on YouTube, or you can donate something via PayPal and just attach your question, donate it to Let's Talk at ronnyrich.de, and we will read your question. But also the other ones, like here's one from Stuart Turner, great guitar player, young guy. And here's a band I miss. They played without drums as well, a European band. Did you see the Skip Rats?
We did see them the first time we were at Hemsby, and that's that's the first time we found out about the Skip Rats. Yeah, and I was blown away by those guys, and ended up talking with the bass player a whole bunch and stuff. And I don't think they even got to hang around. They had to play, and then they had other gigs like up in Scotland. They hightailed home, but so we never really got to know them or ever play with them. But yeah, we did get to see them that one time at Hemsby, and they were the first. They were the first drummerless, other drummerless band that I became aware of the first time we
Definitely.
played.
I forgot about them. Sorry.
Yeah, they were monsters.
But they were
great
yeah, I
band.
really love that 10-inch too. And talking about it's the mirror image.
Yeah.
How about this is the 12-inch, and actually when I saw you, when I saw you guys the first time, that was in Berlin, in early 90s, I think, and for me that was one of the first experience. I saw the opening band, and the sound was terrible, and I was like, I was driving from Rostock to Berlin 2.5 hours to see High Noon. And the sound is so terrible, and then you guys started, and it was just boom, perfect, and that's the first time when I thought, okay, it might be the band as well, which is responsible for the sound, not just the sound guys and the PA. That was just so eye-opening for me, and
it's like your video you did about how to get the rockabilly sound. And what is it? You pull out some heavy metal guitar, and play, and it's not the equipment. I mean, it is the equipment in some senses, but really, it's like how does Sean Mencher get that Sean Mencher sound? Well, it's his fingers, it's the way he plays, and so with bands too, when you're playing, if you can't sound good when the PA's shitty. You got to know how to mix yourself and do the dynamics on stage, to put it out there. I mean, that's, and you learn that through playing. We played so much together that we learned how to take every situation and just make it sound like us, you know. So
Kevin, did you have trouble with sound guys, like with a upright bass? Because I can imagine a lot of them, they didn't know about, you know, the slapping and all this stuff.
Yeah. In the early days, it was difficult for them, because what I used to do is I would put a microphone in front of the bass, kind of up where my hands would, my right hand would be. Not down in front of the F-holes, because I had a huge amplifier. So getting that part of the sound out front wasn't a problem, because I could make that happen on my own.
That was a heavy amp.
It was a heavy amp that had 8.
we all missed that amp.
Yeah, I missed it.
Yeah, but you missed the sound.
Yeah. But I would put a microphone in front of the bass just to catch the slap, just to make sure that the slap was really prominent. And trying to explain that to somebody, you know, just like, well, they're like, well, what is it supposed to do there? And I'm just like, well, just put it up. It's going to catch the string noise. And he's like, well, we should use a different mic. It's like, no, don't use a different mic. 58 sounds great for this.
It's like, come on, man, we've done this before.
And, you know, and make sure it's in there and make sure you can hear it. And yeah, so, you know, yeah, it was difficult sometimes, but, you know, I was glad to have a good amp to play through. And
but over in Europe, it would be a struggle, because then you'd be playing on borrowed equipment. But you know, always a borrowed bass. Yeah. I mean, Kevin had the short end of the stick on equipment every time we toured in Europe, because Sean and I could bring a guitar, but Kevin had to use somebody's bass that had steel strings on it, and you know, action way too low, and just try to do the best show you can with what you got, you know. And it's not musically, a lot of times it wasn't very fulfilling for us, because we knew we could sound so much better, you know. But I mean,
also one of the things that I think that I learned from that is that it's better to have your own equipment with you, but they're not, you know, a lot of people are picking up so much more of your energy and your intent that the equipment is, of course, it's extremely important to me, and I want to sound how I want to sound. But, you know, if you get up there and have a good time and it doesn't sound great, there's not going to be many people going, man, they just it didn't sound good. That bass didn't sound good.
It's part of doing your job, right? Yeah, just get up there and do it. Yeah,
have fun, let the people dance.
On time and in tune.
And Sean Mencher, there was another question. Somebody said that we usually rock the solid body guitars. Any love for Telecaster? But then of course you play the Telecaster, and I do too. He said that we always like to play the hollow body guitars, but you love the Telecaster just as well. Yeah,
Sean played pretty much exclusively Telecaster when we started the band, you know.
Yeah.
What's he talking about? I don't know.
Yeah, this guitar, it's heavily modified now, obviously, but this guitar is on every. This is the only guitar. No, I think I did play the 350 on.
Probably Rocks Me Right.
What are you waiting for? But I think everything else was. I know Show and Dance was this guitar. The latest 45 was this guitar. Stranger Things was this guitar. So, yeah, I love Tellys. I love Tellys. Yes, there's a lot of love. Big love. Big love.
Okay. Good to clear this up. Okay, we had I had a poll on Patreon, which is the favorite Buddy Holly song, and Blue Days Black Nights came out as the winner, and I prepared something because I live in an apartment building, and now it's 11 o'clock p.m. so I can't play right now, but I pre-recorded something, and I just want to share with you my version of Blue Days Black Nights.
Blue days, black nights, blue tears keep on falling for you, dear. Now you're gone. Blue days, black nights, my heart keeps on calling for you, dear. You alone. Man, Memories of you make me sorry. I give you reasons to doubt me, but now you're gone, and I am left here all alone with the memories. I think of you. Blue days, black nights, I didn't realize I would miss you the way I do. But now, somehow, I know I would pay for the times I have made you blue. Memories of you make me sorry. I give you reasons to doubt me, but now you're gone, and I am left here all alone with the memories. I think of you, with the memories. I think of you, with the memories. I think of you.
All right.
Beautiful picking.
Thank you. It's always been one of my favorite songs as well. I mean, the early Nashville stuff.
That was a regular feature in our set list early on too. We always played Blue Days, Black Nights. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, with High Noon. Yeah.
How did you, like it says here, a Rockabilly record company? How did you meet Willie Lewis, and how did you work with him, or how did you work with Willie Lewis? How was it to work with him?
Crazy. It was great. Lewis was a super cool guy, and Kevin and I, bought his records at when we were in Denver. Even before I met Kevin, I walked into this place called Wax Trax, which was this great record store in Denver, and on the counter Willie would have a little box like with Sharpie, just rockabilly records, and
okay.
And I walked up and I'm like, what is this? Willie Lewis and the String Poppers? Like, it's a Denver Rockabilly or something like that. And I was like, nobody knows this band doesn't play around or anything, but Willie and the String Poppers. And I bought that Rock and Blues and Whatever Happened to Rock and Roll 45 and took it home. And I was just like, man, this is so cool. Where is this guy? Well, we never knew. And we found out through Todd Wolfmeyer,
mm-hmm.
who had, when Kevin and Todd moved back to Denver, that's getting into the High Noon story again. But Kevin actually went back to Denver and then came back to Austin to play with High Noon.
Okay.
So that's a whole nother hitch in it. But Todd went up there, and Todd stayed in Denver and played with the Gins, and he was the one that finally found him. And so when we went up there to play, he brought Lewis out to see us, and that's how we met him. And then just through a mutual love of old rockabilly records and stuff, he started putting the records out by us. And we recorded one of them. We recorded in his record room on a cassette.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
player, All Night Long and Hold Me, the cover of Sonny Fisher's Hold Me, and then the song I wrote, All Night Long, that came out on the clear vinyl pressing. That was recorded in his record room on his cassette player. Yeah.
Wow. And I had actually the Show and Dance cassette that was originally released on a cassette as well. Yeah,
it was released on cassette, CD, and vinyl, which everything was back then in the early '90s. You had to do all three formats. Yeah, so
crazy. Yeah, and so I want to talk a little bit about what you did since High Noon, Kevin. So you were playing with Willie Nelson, yeah?
Oh, there you go.
Yes. Yeah.
So how is that? I mean,
it's great. of course. It's wonderful. He's great to work for, and his contribution to music is so vast. And he's
I've heard
such a
he's
great
written some
songwriter,
songs.
such a great singer, and such a great guitar player, and a philanthropist and a humanitarian and all that stuff. And he's an American icon. So to
Definitely, yeah.
so all that is great, but the best thing is getting on stage and standing behind his amplifier and hearing him play music it's it's astounding. It's one of the I love being on tour and I love playing with the whole band with Willie and everything. But what I really miss most, second to the crowd, coming out when you walk out, the crowd reaction is so great and it's so exciting. But then getting to stand behind him and listen to him play guitar all night, it's very stream of consciousness, and you hear these things that you never expected you would hear, and you will probably never hear them again. So so it's great. It's a really great gig. Wonderful.
That's
Randy,
great
Kev,
insight,
can I
yeah.
tell a quick little story?
Sure.
Kevin generously invited Bettina and I to see a Willie show in New Hampshire.
Mhm.
So we're hanging out with Kev backstage, big shots. And we're on the side of the stage, and Willie had taken a night or the previous show or two off due to, I think, health concerns. And so we're just sitting there watching the whole show from the wings. The show's great. It's great. And we're just being quiet. Willie's waving, and they're doing the medley at the end. And he's leaving the stage while the band is still vamping. And he's walking out. And I watched Willie walk up to Kevin, kind of get in his face and go, and then he got onto his bus and was gone. But
Okay.
to see that moment, I can't tell you the pride. I mean, that Bettina and I both felt. She's sitting right here. That Kevin, seriously, dude. Yeah,
I am
I don't know.
grateful
That's
and
all I got.
fortunate.
So there you go.
Thank you.
That's a story that happened. And Kev was playing upright and slapping at that point. I'll fly away, oh glory.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
And Shaun Young and Sean Mencher, you told me about you did something with event records. You're involved with event records and Curtis Johnson, Baby for all of you.
Yeah.
Can you
Sean, do you
tell
want-
us something about that?
Sean was good
Absolutely.
friends with Al Hawks, so yeah, the guy who recorded that.
In a nutshell, on one of our many long European tours, we were at Jan's in Amsterdam. Jan, I hope you're watching. And he had a bunch of records in the carts that he used to bring, remember, to the shows. And so I got this record, Granddaddy's Rockin', and it's got, it says, Curtis Johnson and the Windjammers, Loverboy. This great two-sided rockabilly single has been released in 1958 on a main label event. And anyway, I came up for a visit from Austin, Texas to Portland, Maine, where family is living. And I asked a great guitar player, friend of mine, Matt Robbins. I said, Matt, have you ever heard of Event Records? And he goes, oh, yeah, that's Al out on 302, Route 302. So I called him up and I said, hey, could we meet? I'd really love the sound you get, and I'm into rockabilly. And he goes, well, I've had a lot of people come out here and waste my time, Why don't you send me some stuff on you? So I sent him. At that point, I was contributing to Mark Fennick's Southern and Rocking Music magazine. Yeah. And also we had Show and Dance High Noon, the Rockabilly Trio LP on Castle or Dojo. And so I mailed him, thank you, Yanni, and I mailed him that, and he called me and said, oh, man, we're going to be great friends. And I am so privileged and honored to have been his friend until he died, and I got to play at his funeral. I played but he was one of these guys like a Norman Petty or Sam Phillips.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it, man. Sean's holding it up. Yeah. There was a scene up
That's
here.
an ad for Curtis Johnson and his rock and roll band.
Wow. Yeah.
That's
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened was through Sean knowing Al, my girlfriend Beck, who has Swell Tune Records, we're good friends with Al, and Al was kind of her mentor as far as putting, the record business. And so when Al passed away, he actually left Event to Beck.
Oh.
And so we're in the process feeling very privileged to be taking care of Al's estate and going through it and kind of getting things together. So I've been immersed in a bunch of incredible stuff with Event Records, and I'll just show you a few things real quick because I think everybody will dig good. Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
You got everything. Very good. Yeah.
So I've been going through files and things, and Al kept really good records, and he kept things like that, and so it's a lot of incredible stuff. But there's the test pressing for Baby Baby.
Wow.
That's the test pressing for the re-release from the 70s that over in Europe, and that's the re-release there, right? So I found that. I was like, oh my God, that's so cool, right? Well, and then I kept digging, and so there's the test pressing from 1957.
Wow.
That's the test pressing for Baby Baby.
Make a lot of people jealous out there.
Yeah, I know. Well, this stuff it's not mine. That's what I keep telling people. This is not mine. I'm just the curator of this stuff. And there's a lot of incredible stuff. I have, I should probably show the.
Do it.
You being a guitar fan, do you know about Lenny Breau, right, Randy?
Yeah,
you know who
played
Lenny
for
Breau
Curtis
was?
Johnson, yeah.
Yeah, and he played with Curtis Johnson, I have a guitar that was, he's famous because later on he became a jazz kind of. Yeah. I mean, Chet Atkins called him the greatest guitar player that ever lived, and all this stuff. But the guitar that Al owned that Lenny used on the CD, the Boy Wonder, which is all early stuff from the 50s, and him playing finger picking stuff. I have that guitar here too. It's a 1943 Gibson LG2.
And Sean is very kindly helping to sell that guitar. If anyone out there is interested to help the estate.
It's an expensive guitar, but if
I can imagine.
If you're a Lenny Breau fan and you're a Gibson fan, a wartime Gibson fan, it is for sale. So just contact me and we can talk about it. But it's incredible. I wanted to show you one other thing though, getting off the event subject, but being a huge rockabilly fan, I know you are, and a big Texas rockabilly fan. I want to show you this is an unpublished photo.
Oh,
That's Hal Goodson of Hal Goodson and the Raiders from Lubbock in 1957.
Wow. Where did you get the picture from?
I got that from my boss in Austin.
Wow.
This lady who owned a vintage clothing store in Austin called Room Service. Her name is Patty. And Patty Barker Benfield or Susie Barker Benfield is her sister. And they both went to Texas Tech in Lubbock in the 50s.
Yeah. And
Patty had a sorority she was in, and Hal Goodson would come and play the sorority party. So I was in there with a cassette tape of rockabilly stuff working, and she came in and who's going to be the next one? Who's going to be the next one, honey? Who's going to be the pole ball baby? That was playing Hal Goodson and the Raiders, and of course, recorded at Norman Petty's with Jerry Allison playing drums. It was first recording Jerry Allison ever played on. Mm-hmm. And she started singing along. And I was like, how does my boss know this song, And I said, Patsy, you know that song? And she said, yeah, that's Hal Goodson, isn't it? And I said, yeah. I said, how do you know Hal Goodson? She goes, I had that record, and yeah, he used to come play our our sorority. And I was like, what? And so the next day she brought this snapshot to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I
Wow.
got that. But yeah, it's pretty neat. Yeah.
So let's do one more question before we play some music again. From Hannah Lee Mencher.
I know her.
Okay.
I bet I know the answer to this one.
Question for everyone. What is your favorite High Noon song?
Oh, Hannah Lee by Long Shot.
Oh, Hannah Lee.
True story. Yeah.
I guess that was the right answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if I had to pick a second choice, which not even close to Hannah Lee, of course, but I think Stranger Things is probably.
I
think
was kind of going to say that
encapsulates
too.
Exactly
actually.
what we are and who we are as players, and what we are as a band. That's just. I think it's a well-written song and a well-played song, and there's. I don't. It's hard for me to describe it. I'm not a songwriter, but it's not a song. It's not a simple thought to me. You know, it's to me it's layered. It's. I think it's one of the best things we ever did for sure.
Yeah. Thanks.
We all get featured on that as well. So.
Shaun Young, if you had to pick a second one, of course. Of course,
Man, it's
far
tough.
removed from Hannah
I
Lee.
mean, I really love our last 45. I love both sides of it. I really like Change though, because you know, I'm going to toot my own horn, but you know that song, when I wrote that song and then to get it, I think it just came together exactly like I was hearing it in my head with Sean and Kevin. And I think it kind of has a lot of the influences that maybe are kind of off the beaten path that we always had, the Everly Brothers influence, the Buddy Holly influence, the songwriter influence, trying to kind of take a subject matter that maybe doesn't get written about in rockabilly music anyway, and doing that. And then the flip side that is just flat out great rockabilly song. You done did it with the bluegrass change that makes it not typical of a, and it's just, I just think everybody played. It was great to have that moment, because it was just, that band coming together and doing that, and it coming out that well was a great thing. So I love both those songs.
Well, let us know in the comments which is your favorite High Noon song. I read Glory Bound. That's probably
I think that's another one that really
that's the first song I heard of you guys. And when I saw you the first time in Berlin, and I was asking you, Shaun, you probably don't remember, are you going to play Glory Bound? And you were, yeah, we do that. And then you opened with it, and I was like, oh.
we always open with that song for 20 plus years. So there you go. We open with Glory Bound, and we close with Stranger Things. So those are two that kind of frame the whole thing. Yeah.
And Axel from Belgium, he said, "Your New Flame is Burning Me." I love that one too. Yeah.
I love that song too. Yeah. That's a great. That's one. Sean.
And also one of my favorites is "I'm Not Blue." I really love.
Oh, thank you. With
the harmony singing and everything, and yeah.
That was that early shuffle country influence on us from being from. So yeah.
So Sean Mencher, what is your favorite High Noon song apart from Hannah Lee?
It's hard to pick one. It really is. I love so many. So I'll go with country. I love Call of the Honky Tonk, because it always reminds me of Henry's, and we just lost Skinny Don and Jimmy Day and Don Walzer. I mean, that's where that song was inspired and motivated.
That's what Big Al wrote. Call of the Honky Tonk is his favorite
Big
song.
Al.
Big Al he's here as well.
Yay, Big Al.
And Andy from Spodioti. He's a rattlesnake man.
Oh, thank you. I wrote that when I was like 17. I think.
So who's gonna play another song for us?
Oh, I could.
Oh, all right.
Sean, go for it.
All right. Let me get out. Let me get this out. I just put this together. All right. This is my replica of Buddy Holly's 1958 Stratocaster, that the last guitar that he had, that I just put together. Let me plug in here.
Yeah, that would be good.
And yeah, let me do a little preparation. Sorry, I was ill prepared to get back at it here.
And after you play the song, we're gonna have the.
I'm doing background.
Yeah, very good.
No, you keep going. I'm doing background music for you.
All right, I know. I don't know if they. I think they can only hear one at the time, so I'm not
Oh,
sure.
sorry.
But now I'm off. But oh yeah, after Sean played the song, we're gonna have the quiz question, and this is gonna be a tough one because Sean Mencher, you have lots of prizes where the winner can pick from. Yeah. We're gonna get to it later.
Okay.
But let's hear Sean. Are you plugged? Are you ready? Are you ready to go?
I think so. I'm going to do something. I'm going to do another Buddy Holly song. It's kind of one that people don't normally do, because
Okay.
this is going to be funny.
It's funny already.
Take your time, I can wait, for all the love I know will be mine if you take your time. Take your time, it's late, heartstrings will sing like a string of twine if you take your time. Take your time and take mine too, I have time to spend. Take your time, go with me through time till all time's end. Take your time, I can wait, for all the love I know will be mine if you take your time. Take your time, take mine too, I have time to spend. Take your time, go with me through time till all time's end. Take your time, I can wait, for all the love I know will be mine if you take your time. Take your time.
This is just for the organ sound. Actually, your laptop you kind of compressed the the organ sound, so it sounded even more
Oh yeah,
strange. Yeah, but no, I really enjoyed that. Wow.
that's what you can do with stupid pedals. You know,
Okay.
Norman Petty never gets any love, so I pull out his organ part on the guitar.
Definitely, yeah. So, Sean Mencher, what kind of prizes do you have for the winner of the question?
Well, because it is the three of us, we
Yeah.
have one of these
Wow.
and one of these.
Oh.
And as a bonus, I don't have anybody else's CDs. I don't have one of Sean's. So I have some of these, which is an instrumental CD I did. And because Bettina makes jewelry with for anybody who wears earrings, I have a pair of these, actually guitar strings. They're my strings that she makes into jewelry. So we'll
Some
throw those
upcycling.
in. Yeah, right. So
Right.
so we'll throw those in. Those are a bonus, but this is the the Bear Family compilation called Flatland Saturday Night. So, and the new 45.
Cool. So you can, the winner can pick from all the stuff if you remember.
We'll throw them all in. No, they can have them all.
Wow. Well,
Bonus.
I have this one, the Sun and Lightning LP that we recorded 2 years ago, I think. It's strange with 2020, the COVID year. It's just everything is, you don't even know when you did what, yeah, because the year is just gone. So because the shipping is now better again to the US, I can offer this LP. So this is one of the last 10 actually. So let's have the trailer.
I'm winning now. I'm winning now.
All right. So here's my question. When did High Noon back up Ronnie Dawson at the Carnegie Hall?
I know.
Month? well, well, you guys cannot be part of the game, and also your family is excluded. But when the month and the year would be nice. The month and the year of when did High Noon back Ronnie Dawson at the Carnegie Hall? And we had the newspaper up earlier in the show. So if you Daniel, the year is good. We need the month as well. The year would be too easy. If you have the month as well, then you're the winner. And there's also usually like a Axel again. May 2nd, 1994.
Wow.
How do you do it? He won last time. Well, I don't know how he does it. And May 1994 is right, and Axel is the first one, and he's the winner once again. And I promise I don't have anything to do with it. I just come up with a question while I do the program here. So congratulations, Axel.
Axel.
You get the LP here and a bunch of stuff from Shaun. So we have some Rickard Angström, he said May 1994 as well. And then Great Vancini, he said April 29th, 1994. So
that may have been the day. I'm not sure what the day.
The newspaper was May 2nd.
No, the newspaper came out that Monday.
okay. So
I
it
think
might
the
have
day
been
itself.
okay. Oh, now I'm in a whole lot of trouble here.
No. It says on that in the newspaper.
What day it actually went?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I have to look it up. So maybe Great Vancini, if you you can just write to me and give me your address. My mail address is mail@randyrich.de. So action-packed events says it's incorrect. It was April. So this is your brother, yeah, Shaun?
Yeah, Mark. Hey.
Okay, Mark.
Mark.
So we have two winners then. Great Vancini and Axel, because we just showed the newspaper 2nd of May, and of course it was April. So Mark Mencher, you hear us, thank you so much for all the events you put on, especially the Green Bay. That was just amazing. I mean, that was just I was blown away, and I was a part of it, could back up some artists, and I actually now I have some videotapes, VHS that I'm digitalizing. What is it? I put
Mark
you
and Phil.
onto my my hard drive now, because just got so much stuff from Green Bay 2002 the videos, yeah, with Jack Scott and Gene Summers and just amazing stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you very much, Mark.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
Mark
Sure.
and Phil Durant, thank you.
Hey, Mark.
So if you have more questions, please let us know. We're waiting for your questions, and we would be thrilled to answer those. And you can use the super chat on YouTube. You can also, if you want to help the show and if you want to help the musicians, you can donate to PayPal. Let's talk at randyrich.de, and you can attach a question. Oh, just in that second, I get one. Oh, no, it's not a question. Just Dave Fisher has sent €5.29. Thank you very much, Dave. If you have a question,
Dave
just
showed you that, so
just let me know. Okay, so what do you guys think? What are your plans? When can you start playing again live?
well, things are kind of opened up for Kevin down there in Texas, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few gigs here and there, mostly outdoors. If they're indoors, they're very large venues with very few people. So there's a few things going on down here. I may be actually out on tour again in August or September. So
Okay.
Willie and family, everybody's healthy and happy, and everybody really wants to get back out on the road. Everybody's really anxious. So August or September, we're hoping.
and for me here in Boston, there's not really too much going on, but there's a few things are kind of they're starting to book some shows for May. Now that people are kind of getting vaccinated. I just got my first shot yesterday, so another couple of weeks I'll be vaccinated, and then I'm hoping to get out and play a little bit. But the main thing that I'm looking forward to isn't until September, and that's the New England Shake-Up, which is the big festival here, and both Sean and I will be involved in that. And Sean does a kind of a conference there. Sean Mencher's Rockin' Afternoon, and it's going to be pretty exciting this year. And
we wish you the best for that.
Yeah.
We've
Thank
got
you.
a gig every Saturday, every Sunday.
Yeah, that's going to be great. It's that's a lot of fun. It's something similar to this, but we invite people who have a certain passion to talk about what they love. And so, say if Kevin was there and wanted to talk about his upright bass heroes, he could turn us on to the slap technique, and it's something like that. This year we have some great guests planned, but I don't know whether the gal in charge. I better check with Beck if this is public yet. I don't know.
Yeah, we're waiting on a few things from the hotel before we can start announcing all the guests. But it's going to be cool. Some cool things going on. The Bay State Barn Dance on Saturday is going to be a sit down, country music show like the old Grand Ole Opry shows or Louisiana Hayride shows. And we do know who's coming to that. There's going to be some, Big Sandy will be there, of course, myself, Sean, Dale Watson's coming in just for that show with Celine Lee. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're planning on doing an Event Records display, almost like a museum display with all this, all the artifacts that we're finding from Al's estate. So there'll be a lot of show posters and advertisements and promo pictures and stuff from Dick Curlis and Curtis Johnson and
Hal
other,
Pine.
Hal Lone Pine, Betty Cody, Lenny Bro, along with just stuff that Al got from Hank Snow and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. So that'll be there for people to see. It's gonna be a good time. So I'm looking forward to that in September.
Yeah, I also want to thank Corey. He helps me with moderating the chat, and if I miss a question, he will let me know. So thank you very much for your help and support. And so we have another question. What Filtertron pickups do you guys like? I guess that's for the guitar players.
I guess he doesn't use filter tones.
Yeah.
Do you use?
If I can answer,
I don't
I
use
would
any
say
filter tones. Yeah.
Probably the ones, Ray Butts was the one who designed them. And the person to really ask would be Tim Masters. I have the Armands on this Gretsch, or actually T Armands that Chris Casello helped me get from TV Jones in this guitar. But regarding Filtertrons, I don't own a guitar with Filtertrons, so I'm not qualified to answer that.
Yeah, same with
Tim
me.
Masters, a buddy of mine, would know. Sean, what do you say?
I'm a single coil guy, so I don't really like humbucker pickups, but that's just me.
Then there's another question: will there ever be another High Noon release?
Probably.
Yeah,
It's
probably.
possible.
We can't ever say never, We try to get rid of each other, but it never sticks.
So, Sean Mencher, do you want to do another instrumental for us? Do you have something else?
Let's see. You know what I'd like to do? Since we're kind of on a Buddy Holly kick, can I do Flatland Saturday night?
Yeah, sure. You can do whatever you want.
Okay. So here's a joke.
What happens when you give him
See,
carte blanche?
All right, not too
I
much
was
freedom.
going
Yeah?
to tell a joke about eggs, but it doesn't usually go over easy. All right. So this song I did write in Lubbock, Texas, after visiting Buddy Holly's grave. I sure wish we could play it together, because playing it with Shaun Young and Kevin Smith is a feeling like I can't really put into words. Flatland, Saturday night, I got my foot to the floor, not a cop in sight. Rolling downtown to throw some back. I'll meet the fellas later by the railroad track. Light a little fire if it gets cold. Pick guitars and watch the boxcars roll. I got my eyes on a honey, she lives cross town. Called her up, but she turned me down. One of these days, she's gonna see the only rockin' daddy in this town is me. And then we'll go walking hand in hand over the edge of this flatland. We're going up in the mountains, down in the valleys, strut down avenues, stumble up alleys. See it all once, maybe twice. This time of year, she says Paris is nice. We'll go all the places that we've never been, across great oceans and back again. We're going back to the cotton and back to the dust, back to the freight trains covered with rust. From rambling all over to this flat land, we'll return walking hand in hand. Never no more from here to Rome, and we'll rest easy till the Lord calls us home. Flatland, Saturday night, I got my foot to the floor, not a cop in sight. Rolling downtown to throw some back. I'll meet the fellas later by the railroad track. We'll light a little fire if it gets cold. Pick guitars and watch the boxcars roll. Pick guitars and watch the boxcars roll. Pick guitars and watch the boxcars roll.
Yeah, I know the applause is not like anything you have experienced before, but
I can hear it. I can feel it anyway in my heart. Thank you. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Kevin, for so many years of friendship and making music together.
Oh, back
And
at
thank you to everybody listening and watching out there. I know there's a bunch of folks who probably we've met from around the world, whether it's in Japan or Finland or, you know. So thank you. Thank you. Appreciation, gratitude, and respect. Thank you.
yeah. So I think we can kind of call it the night, or let's call it the day for you.
Well, I have one question, if I could
Oh,
ask
yeah,
you,
yeah.
Randy.
And also,
is that a
you
Reslo
can also-
microphone you're talking into?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
I actually got it for two songs. We got two mics for two songs that we recorded for the guy Jerry DeVoe, I guess, from the Continental Restyling.
Oh, okay.
And he put out a compilation, so he gave us two Reslo mics, and we gave him two songs. So, yeah,
Nice.
Good deal.
that was before eBay, and actually, like shortly after, I saw some pictures of the Beatles, you know, at the Cavern Club with the Reslo
Reslos,
mics,
yeah.
and since then, I think they've gotten pretty expensive.
All Reuben microphones have gotten kind of crazy, yeah, expensive, but yeah, nice.
So, do you guys have any great story, any funny story from when you were on the road, or?
Oh, nothing funny ever. Yeah, we just have to think of one we can actually tell. I don't know. Do you guys got one?
Oh man.
I remember a few nights. I remember a night in Corpus Christi, and then I remember one in Belgium. That actually is kind of a funny story. We did a show in Antwerp, and nobody had told us that the beer, the Duvel, in Belgium was actually like 9% alcohol or something, because they sell it in the United States, but it's only like, 5% or something. And
Okay.
and they kept bringing them up to us on stage, and we were down on them because it was really packed, small club and hot, and we were all sweating, just having a great old time playing. And all three of us just got kind of off our rocker drinking those Duvels. But I remember the Dutch promoter coming up and saying, "Hey, man, take it easy on those. Those are like 9.5% alcohol or something, like way different than American ones." And by that time it was too late. And I think we all lost things that night. And I know
That
my
was with
tuner
Tom,
came up
right?
and I don't
Tom
know.
Brandt.
Well, it was probably Tom booked it,
Probably.
but it was it was
Driving us around.
Errol and Jan that were like, "Hey,
Oh.
take it easy on those things." Yeah.
And Prestone Music, Dingo from Australia, he sent me 15 euros, so thank you very much, Dingo. Really enjoy your stuff too, and man, I haven't seen you in I don't know how long. And he asked how about nightmare gigs? Did you have any nightmare gigs? I know we had a lot.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Quite some.
We had some nightmare gigs.
Anything you want to?
You tend to kind of push those back into your memory, but we had some kind of crazy ones. We actually got gassed in St. Petersburg, Russia. Somebody let off a gas grenade in the crowd.
Yeah, it was
Really?
military gas.
Yeah, well, it
Wow.
was tear gas, but it was like a surplus military gas grenade, and the night it happened, they said, well, these guys just got in a fight, and some guy had a tear gas grenade and let it off. But later on, we ran into a DJ from Moscow that we had met a few years, actually in Berlin.
Okay.
We ran into him. because he was on tour with the Russian band there, and we went out for coffee after sound check at that club that you saw us at.
Okay.
We got talking to him, and he's like, "Oh, is that what they told you guys?" Yeah, why? And he said, "No, that wasn't two guys in a fight." He goes, "That was the mob, and it's because he said because we played 2 nights in St. Petersburg, and the first night we played in this little theater, and it was packed. And the second night they moved it to a bigger hall, so more people could come in. And he said it was because they didn't like up the cut to the local mob."
Okay.
Because they moved it to a bigger theater, they came and kind of shut it down, by letting off a tear gas grenade. So we got shut down by the Russian mob. That was a nightmare.
Oh yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, I remember we were playing Crazy Fever, and
That's
Peter
right.
Thorne came up and was tugging at my arm, saying, "No, the smoke." And I go, "We'd been playing at Henry's, and you couldn't even, which was a beer joint, couldn't even see the back of the back wall because people are smoking cigarettes."
Yeah.
So I was like, "So what? Smoke."
Smoke.
But he goes, "No, this is military gas. That's why I said, yeah." So then we all.
I remember we were playing. I leaned over to Kevin. I said, "What's going on?" And Kevin said, "He says there's gas or a gas leak. That's what it's. There's a gas leak." And I said, "Well, let's get out of here," because people were running out of the hall by that time, like kind of disappearing. And so we went backstage, and it was like, "No, it's a gas grenade." And it was like, "Oh, yeah." It was pretty wild. Yeah.
Another,
Yeah.
I mean, we've had so many great gigs. I mean, I want to talk about those too for a second. Like the time we played with the Playboys and Ray Campy, watching Johnny Gimbel kick off Faded Love as the sun's going down.
And Eldon Shanklin.
Yeah.
Playing his Stratocaster,
Yeah, Eldon Shanklin, meeting Eldon. However, there is one other nightmare gig that I do remember, and I know you both will too. We were in Paris and Ramon was with us. Thank you, Ramon. And we were playing at a really cool club. And
at the Slow Club.
Like, yeah, downstairs.
Yeah, the Slow Club. Where Django Reinhardt played, yeah.
We saw people like dancing and jiving and bopping and all this. And in the other room, we saw some commotion. Didn't know what was going on. And as I'm carrying my stuff out, you realize that it's actually there had been a fight. And some guy, I don't know what happened to him, but he got, the bottle, and it was awful. So that was awful. And then driving back to Amsterdam, we drove through an accident. I'll never forget that. Kevin, you remember that. We were sitting in the back. Sean, you were in front of Sleep. And I just remember going, Ramon driving us through. It was a pretty hairy moment, but we made it.
A big accident happened right in front of us. It was a really rainy night. We had driven down from Germany from somewhere. I can't even remember where we were at. Or was it Switzerland?
I think it was Switzerland.
Switzerland. We drove down from Switzerland straight to Paris. Got there just in time to do the gig, like, changed as we're running in kind of thing. Yeah. Played the show. Yeah, that fight broke out. And, and I think somebody got a bottle. And, I mean, there was enough blood when we were leaving after the gig was over up the stairs where they took the guy up the stairs. That we were like, holy cow, did this guy survive? And happily, he did.
Yeah.
Because I ran into somebody who knows him.
Okay.
And that story came up. Yeah. And some guy had broken a bottle over his head or something. And he just got a really good cut, but he did. But that was, it was just one of those things where, like, oh my God, there's blood all over the stairs. We're tired. We have to get back in the car and drive back to Amsterdam. And then we got to Amsterdam and realized that none of us had the keys to this place we were supposed to be staying. Oh, there's all kinds of stories like that. I mean,
I have another guess. I have another guess story. We playing somewhere in southern Germany, and we checked out the place where we were supposed to stay. It was like a private apartment, and it was an apartment building. And he was like living on the 3rd floor. And when we got to the 1st floor, you could smell gas already, and the smell got stronger the higher you got, and it was coming directly from from the apartment where we were supposed to stay, and we're like, don't you smell that? To the guy who lived there, he's like, yeah, that's okay. It's a you can open the window. It's like, no. And we asked the promoter, can we stay somewhere else, please?
Yeah.
And he's like, why? I mean, he lives there for I don't know, and it's okay. And we said, no, we're not staying here. And then a couple of days later, I mean, then they got us a hotel, and a couple of days later, the promoter he wrote to me that the police shut down his apartment and had to fix the leak. There was a leak somewhere, so I mean, crazy.
Yeah,
what people
nuts.
think. Yeah.
It's nuts.
No, thank you.
It's, yeah, it's wild how close you come to stuff when you're out there. I mean, we came through Oklahoma City, talking about nightmares. We came through Oklahoma City with Ronnie the day before the terrorist bombing in Oklahoma City back in, what was that, 93 or 94, of the court building there. And we were there the night before on our way back to Dallas. We got to Dallas the next morning. We got up and saw that somebody had bombed that building.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just wild,
Kevin, when you play with Willie Nelson, are all the gigs like really well organized then, or is there also some mishap or some like miscommunication, or is it just everything is organized? It's not like when you tour small clubs or whatever.
It's pretty much taken care of. Yeah. It's but I mean, it's the show itself, you never know what's going to happen because he has written so many songs and recorded so many albums that you don't know what's going to happen. And so when we go out on stage, we know that we're going to start with Whiskey River and we're going to end with a gospel medley, but anything in the middle could just be anything. So, and and there's nights. Yeah. It's just, that part of it never changes, but everything else runs pretty smooth. It's pretty great. It's fun.
So that's like similar to Sleepy LaBeef, yeah? Did you ever back up Sleepy LaBeef? Or?
No, but I know people who did. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I played drums for him at Hemsby because he didn't like the guy they hired to play for him. And he told Willie Jeffries, get that kid from Texas, because I felt bad for these guys they hired because Sleepy was playing Apartment Number 9 and waltzes and stuff, and these guys had no idea what was going on, and what they should have done. I was there with the Horde Brothers. They should have just hired all of us to back him. Then it would have been fine. But it ended up with me playing drums and Billy Horton standing in front of the bass player they hired, yelling changes at him and like trying to throw numbers at him for all these country songs. Yeah,
because I think in America you're more used to follow the leader. I think in Europe it's more like a band concept, and in America jamming is much more common. Even on stage you have a band leader, and he and you work for him, maybe as a hired musician, and then you just play whatever he decides. And Sleepy LaBeef, I think he just went from a waltz in A to rock and roll. In C.
There is more of that in the music scene, especially in the country music scene, blues music scene, roots music scene in the States, is that you can there's kind of a language that you learn playing here, with chord changes and things like that, to where you can jump up with anybody and play a song, because you just jump up and say if Sean and Kevin and I, even if it's like some country shuffle song that we've never played before, we just go, well, it just turn around from the five chord at the beginning. We'll turn it around in the middle, which means there's no solo. We'll just do the same turnaround, and then vocal tag at the end, same turnaround, but I'm singing it. It's in the key of A. It's a shuffle. Away we go. Count it off and you play it. Never played it before, but you can pull it off and pull it off quite well. It just, you just need to know that language. And yeah, so gigs here, because gigs here aren't like gigs in Europe. We you know, especially when you're starting a band, you're not playing festivals right off or music festivals. When we started High Noon, our shows were at bars, and we played 4 45-minute sets with a 15-minute break between each one, and we never repeated a song. So we had to have a huge repertoire. So even with rehearsing all the time, which we did, every night we didn't play, we rehearsed. We still would pull things out that just, maybe I've been listening to some Elvis record, we never played it before. I'd just go, hey, let's do this, and you know, it's in C, and we just try it. A lot of those songs too would ended up being in our set regularly if they went off good, and we never rehearsed them. We just played them, and so we'd use that arrangement that we did live, and to fill the time, you know. Yeah, so it's different. You learn how to jam and make things work. Yeah.
Okay, let's bring it to an end. Any last word, final words you want to say to our viewers or to the audience? Anything you want to promote?
I'll go first. I just want to thank everybody. Thank you all for your support over the years of High Noon and Sean and Kevin and myself. You know, we love y'all. Randy, thank you so much for having us and your support.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it, and we're all big fans of yours. Also, the stuff you do is excellent. So,
thank
you to Sean and Kevin, I love you guys, and I can't wait to see you soon.
Same here, all the way. So grateful for everybody. Grateful for Sean and of course Randy for having this platform for us. Great. Let's make more music.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Yeah.
I would echo Kevin and Sean's sentiments and just say thank you. And to all the viewers around the world, thank you so very much for your kindness, taking us into your hearts, into your ears, and into your homes. You know, if Annika and Michelle are watching, or anybody from around the world, thank you so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
And
I
go,
think,
Cat, go.
Yeah, I think that's what you just said. I want to thank all the promoters as well. I mean, without them, and many of them, they risk a lot of money, you know, going in, you know, and organizing concerts and shows, and even lose money. And over the years, I think it's just amazing that this music, which is now so old, is still, you know, we're still able to play it in front of crowds. Sometimes the same people as like 30 years ago, they're still loyal to us. And yeah, I'm so thankful for everybody who's, you know, supporting our music and digging what we do. Yeah, definitely.
Amen.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. And this broadcast will be available, of course, after we finish here, for everybody to see on YouTube and Facebook. And yeah, I'm not sure who I have next. I have a few candidates, but yeah, I'll let you know. So thanks a lot. And yeah, we got people from France, from Sweden, America, of course, England, Germany, from everywhere. So Australia, crazy. Okay, thanks a lot, and thank you guys from High Noon, and hope to see you live again. Maybe this year, but hopefully next year. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Thanks, y'all.
Wear a mask.
Thank you.
Thank you.